Well, there we go. Now, chat filter. All messages. Thank you. I don't do very well at seeing them on the phone. Good morning. I don't think there'll be anybody on today, but there might be. Hi. Let's just see how it is. And community moderation is on. Participant mode is everyone. And we're going to go slow mode. And I'm going to put just a little bit of delay on the messages. Oops. Slow mode. There we go. I do a little bit of delayed on the messages. Look, we can go blocked words. Well, this is 18 plus, so I'm going to leave it open for now. And it says hold potentially inappropriate chat messages for review. That seems to make sense. That's helpful that I can get into this menu. I'm shooting the live off of an iPhone, and I'm using like a $20 gaming headset that a loved one gave me many, many years ago. I know the audio's not that great, but it's what I got and it's what I'm used to. And I would also shoot without a headset because really all I need is the microphone. So sometimes I set it down in front of me and I just use the microphone from it, sticking off the table. But also, there's been yard work going on outside. And sometimes putting on the earmuffs, it does kick up my tinnitus. Like I can hear my tinnitus now, like so, but it also does block out some of the exterior noises, right? Just general. It's not that noisy here, but I am in a city area now, staying at a friend's house, and I've got the sliding glass door open a little bit, and Hana is just outside sunbathing. So anyway, I'm Deeja. This is at Deeja Love, or the Diary of Dondi Racer Deeja. And that's because, well, that's kind of from my life and my childhood. I've had so many nicknames through the years. Yes. So good to see all of you. Just in time. You'll actually notice that the clock doesn't move. Of course, I could do something fun. Like, I wonder if it would be funny, or not funny. I wonder if they'd notice if I took it down off the wall and changed its batteries and then set it to the wrong time, but it still would tick around. I'm going to see if I can fix it later. I'm going to see if I can change the batteries, and then I'm going to set it to the wrong time and not say anything. I'm going to see if my bestie M, if she notices or not, or if Ev notices or not. That'd be funny. Okay. If it even works. Maybe the clock is broken forever. I don't know. Oh, I love being here. Love being here. I feel like I'm in, kind of like paradise, sheltered temporarily right now. I really, really miss camping. I miss camping. Well, I'm gonna kind of be quiet and just be here. Oh, and I'm gonna update a few things on my computer here. I'm just working on. I'll show you. I was just looking at my page. It's been a while since I got my computer out and did much, so I thought I would pick some different things maybe. You know, get something on here. I saw a picture that I did a while ago. Where's my? Oh, there they are. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna pick one of these. Get it set up. Get it going as my background. I don't know where it went. Shoot, earlier I was on the one of the other social medias. I only have two now that I kept, and I use them mostly to share and also for the marketplace and stuff. So let's see here. I'm trying to find a certain one. I used it as my profile recently on 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 the Facebook, or not for my big background because it's an American flag I did. That's a blend with the our 2SLGBTQIA plus flag, and but it's kind of like shot up like because it's at war and there's a war on queer, there's a war on trans, there's a war on gay, there's a war on people of color, there's a war on you know white Democrats, like, but we all know who is really getting hit, really hard. Women. There's a war on women. So if you happen to be LGBTQ, identifying as a woman and a person of color, and if you aren't rich, you are like, I'm sorry, it is like I got it bad, but I don't got it bad. And then I think about, well, we're here safely or not safely arguing about all this. People are being forced into homelessness. I'm recovering from homelessness. I'm on my way, hopefully, to being housed. It takes so much. It takes so much. I can't even imagine. I mean, if I didn't have the support that I do have, if I didn't have the disability money I eventually got that I fought years to get, if I didn't keep trying, if I stopped fighting, if I stopped surviving, if I just gave in to all of the depression and all the PTSD, everything, if I just gave, and I felt like I gave in over and over and over and over and over again because I did, but never truly giving up completely, never crossing the real dangerous lines. Illicit, illegal drugs, nope, I stayed away from. I'm proud of myself for that. That's not easy to do. And I'm sorry if you're addicted or dealing with that or have somebody in your life that's addicted and dealing with that. It's just horrifying. It's horrifying. Sometimes the problems come about because of the addiction, but normally, usually, there's something that already had happened or is happening that a person has now become an addict. So please be supportive and kind to those that you see, you know, houseless and smacked out or methed out or whatever words you tweaker, crackhead, whatever it is. Try to take that down a little bit, okay? Try to understand and have some compassion. You don't have to support their addiction or their habits, but you can still support the human that they once were before that happened and the person they possibly can be again, and that obviously they are in so much pain while in and dealing with the addiction plus whatever else they were already dealing with, and now everything that's come about to traumatize them while being and using. It's horrific. So please be tolerant, benevolent, kind. You know, you don't gotta buy them drugs, but you could give them a gallon of fresh water. You see what I'm saying? Okay? Okay, enough about that. Anyway, I'm on my road, hopefully back to more stable, even being housed. Hopefully a rental. Maybe I'll end up getting a property sooner than I thought I could. I don't know. Had Social Security. Um, let's see, where are these pictures at? Had a Social Security. Uh, um, now I'm talking about it. It just triggered me. And there goes my vocal. Uh, uh, okay. Yeah, talking about certain things triggers my brain, and then all the symptoms kick up, and then these different things happen. But hey, let's just take it easy. I'm not there. I'm here. I am so gratefully currently safe. Of course, I wish I had, like a locking bedroom door and my own bathroom would be nice. And I am just like beyond grateful that I have a hard shelter and a lot of space and time to myself here to continue to quietly gather myself as we continue to slowly knock off one by one the things I've been dealing with and the things on my list that are the most realistic and the most timely to approach and take care of now the best we can. And so it's pretty cool that we are actually starting to make it. We're actually starting to accept my, I'm starting to accept all of it. And doing the psychological battery or examination or questionnaire face to face with the person that ended up being a VA disability determiner and rater also, and they actually were my original one who completely dismissed me and thought everything I had going on had nothing to do with historical active duty time. But they ended up years later seeing me again for my appeal, and they're the one that put me at 100%. So the person who initially completely denied all of it, all of it, left me with 0%. Yet coded with service connection. So I got medical out of it. I got medical out of it, but no money. And then shortly later, I got unemployability. And then I got rated up to 60%. And then I had other little things rated at 10%, and my hands and my back, and then 6 years later, and I still don't even have my I still don't have my knee replaced. My knees that I lost and had replaced because of service connection injuries. I have them replaced with titanium knees, and they're still not on my disability like literature. So I'm being paid for unemployability from service connection trauma, which is 100% now. And that's really great. And I'm supposed to be permanent, but you never know, especially with this administration. And even with all of that going on, I still ended up getting taken advantage of. And my disabilities, my conditions are bad enough that I, for years, have been traveling nomadically, unable to house myself or get myself housed, even with continuous, stable, full VA disability pay and full VA medical because of all the prescriptions they kept putting me on, the misdiagnoses, the mistreatment, the malpractice, the dismissiveness, the discrimination, 3 hospitalizations inpatient making me feel like a psychopath, and just continued harm upon me by lying to me directly about services that were available to me that I asked for specifically, as stated on va.gov and all of their web pages, as I applied for and or asked for. Multiple programs over 7+ years of treatment. Luckily, I got 3 out of all the other programs I asked for. I did get 3, and they were helpful. Substance abuse program. I spent over a year plus doing a substance abuse one-on-one counselor program, and I succeeded it. However, I still do use, but I have my own limits. Also, I did a full harm reduction course. Hi. Hi, Joshy boy. I was just checking in. I haven't been live forever. It's so good to see you here. I was just talking about the VA things I have accomplished and then the ones they've lied to me or discriminated to me about. One other thing I accomplished in that time, so I quit chewing tobacco a couple years back, and I did that by using their substance abuse program. So not only did I use it to get alcohol in check and make sure I didn't step over the line into using illicit drugs or using my prescriptions to deal with the pain, you know, I used a substance abuse program and the harm reduction program offered to help me manage and to rein it in and to learn and to get some self-control going. And I really feel amazing about what I did while I was in those programs. You know what I mean? Yeah. And 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 then I also, quit. I quit the tobacco. That's huge. That's one of the hardest things to let go of. After many years in the military, it just was something, and it's a gross habit, and I never liked it, but that's what happens, right? Ah, Joshy boy, thank you. Love you too. Love you too. Cherish the time. Yeah, for sure. I'll have to hit you up with an email soon and say hi. I've been just so busy, and yesterday I had a Social Security examination, and I think it went really well. That's kind of why I was talking about these things too. But I know you pop in and out. Of course, you don't have to stay, but gosh, it's so great to see you. I'm in here on my computer too, trying to pick a photo for the at DJ Love, the main page or whatever. Just thought I'd jump on live and try to be relaxed and say hi. Haven't been here like this for a while. The other program I did was called, it was a distress tolerance for people in crisis, and or people who experience crisis or SI. It was like a distress tolerance course, and that was a difficult course to take, and I didn't feel like it helped me really. However, I did take away from it a couple little things that are like gems that I still use now years later. So the whole thing for me is like I try to be as open as possible to any possible like else, that kind of help and stuff. I hope work goes well for you. You keep it up, okay? You keep it up. You keep fighting for what you need. You keep creating that life you're after. You go get them. Take care of them kids. All heart. Peace. Oh, so nice. Josh is so nice to us here on our channel. They're a stand-up person. So, but anyway, yeah. So it's a little trip, a little trippy. Um, that that I did those courses, and like I said, you take what you can from each one. If you if you get stuck on something and kind of like, I don't want, like, even that way, like, I understand sometimes the things they'll share or have you try or do, they're uncomfortable or they don't make any sense, or you try them and they just don't work for you. um, but it doesn't mean they might not work for somebody else, and it's still possible good information for one to take in. And or maybe later at some point, if you allow that information to come in and you learn it, even if you don't think it applies to you, it might come up in your brain pan later when you're in some situation that you never expected to be in, and you have that kind of like light memory of that information, and it might be incredibly helpful. So that's kind of what happened with me with the distress tolerances. A lot of stuff wasn't working for me at the time I was in the course, but there was one thing that I pulled away, like breathing techniques and stuff like that. Pull that from it. But I still listened. I still listened, and I'm like, well, I wonder how and when this would apply, or who would apply to, or and try to glean, even though I'm like completely disinterested and like actively blocking everything they're saying. I'm like, there's no reason for me to memory bank this, but I'm like, I did everything I could to pay the attention I could do, and I have benefited from that later. So some things aren't like math, and I think math is amazing, and because of math, we have all the comforts that we have in humanity, like in a lot of ways. Um, and I have dumped so I've dumped so much. I've dumped so much that I used to know, and I was never a mathematician or a mathematic type person either. Like, so I remember my basic tables, but I like trying to remember even Ohm's law. Like, I used to have a ton of different equations up here and whatever. Yeah, they're gone. So I think it would be good maybe for me to even take like a online math course or something like that. Ooh, that might be a cool idea. That might be a way to engage my brain. I wonder what it takes to get a bachelor's degree. If I could do that slowly online without having to actually go to a physical school or not. I bet I could. If I did like one course at a time, maybe, and I did it slow over time. Well, anyway, the VA thing is like, I asked for multiple other things like caregiver, geriatric care, inpatient, like a whole bunch of different things I've requested, asked for help with, and that's the stuff I was lied to about or denied. I even tried to get housing before, tried a lot of things. And, the actual real in my life, them being in my life and helping me, didn't ever occur. The most help I ever got was the video group therapy or one on one therapy. And that was incredibly beneficial. Like, incredibly beneficial. I mean, it's helped me get to where I am now. I would not be here, and I would definitely be still on the street, and I'd be even struggling trying to camp, or, I just felt completely thrown away in all ways. In all ways. And then the extra discrimination I faced from them and the attacks from them, and it was just really rough times. So I'm so blessed to be here right now, to have gone through everything I've gone through, to have gotten this far, to be safe right now, to be in a shelter right now, in a house right now with really great friends. I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful. I'm so fortunate. I'm trying to save my money up, and I'm actually actively waiting for a phone call again from VA Housing, um, to help me hopefully find a place to live on my own successfully, and then provide support, social worker, etc., to help me get stabilized and going and determine what other needs I might need at home. Help me get a new primary care physician that doesn't abuse me. Things like that. So I'm lucky to be where I am. And I know I can sound like I'm complaining, I'm having a hard time. And, that can be true also because it doesn't matter if you're, PTSD doesn't care about your economic status. You know, I mean, it definitely affects one's ability to cope or handle what it does to each person, but it doesn't care. And if a person isn't actively working on it and dealing with it regularly, like I do continuing care, um, it I just that's where the sad, horrible problems come from. Um, on both ends of the economic spectrum, people that are rich that have these types of things, they just become mean and horrible to everybody else, and they just spend their lives in search of anything and everything that they can spend their money on in order to help quash the horrible depression, the unwanted thoughts, the anything and everything that they're dealing with that they can't just come to terms with a therapist and be raw and say, hey, this is what I actually really think and experience. This is what I go through, and to get some guidance and some help. It drives them crazy, and they become super abusive and narcissistic. Some of them are just that way from privilege, no doubt. But I grew up really dirt poor. And the thing is, even among the poor, there's the privileged poor, and then there's the super poor, right? There's like all different levels within that, too. As a child, we even had a dirt floor in one of the houses or cabins or we stayed in for a little bit. I remember that. It was kind of crazy. Yeah, having to watch out for uh, poisonous snakes, you know. But much of the world is that way. People don't, think America that way, but a lot of the world, that's how people live. It's pretty normal for them, So my problems, you know, that I'm dealing with while I have disability, and here I am in this nice shelter at a friend's house. Someone in that situation, like when I was a kid, I would look at me and be like, "You're rich. Are you kidding me? You got everything you need. What's your problem?" Like, "Oh my God." And I'd be like, "Yeah, what I wouldn't give some days to be that kid with a dirt floor instead of having this stuff I deal with." But I've learned so much as a human, and I'm so grateful for the experience, and that I'm just I'm just always baffled and so inspired by how others that are what I see as quote unquote worse off than I am, dealing with other physical or mental disabilities that make them way less functional, but they're still there. They're still there. They still need the things we all need: water and shelter and safety and friends, love. And how lonely it is for those that don't get advocacy. They don't have somebody sitting in their corner telling them it's okay. I'll help you get out what you need to say. I'll stand up for you too. So I'm just so lucky to have the friends I do. They were even talking about like trying to figure out how to create a nonprofit. See if we could somehow figure out how to create a nonprofit where we provide people who just volunteer little bits and pieces of their time to be an advocate and go with somebody to an appointment, an exam, to the doctor, whatever, just as a temporary safety buddy, as an advocate, as a witness, just as a volunteer civilian. People that don't have somebody to go with, people that have been traumatized before, especially those that have been sexual assault victims. Um, so I thought this was really beautiful. It'd be beautiful, of course, to have some sort of nonprofit like that to help fill in the gaps, especially for women, veteran, trans, queer, etc. And of course, everybody. But really want to make sure that we're helping, and of course, houselessness, and prioritize on base of need and things like that. But it would be amazing if start off with one person helping, like they helped me. They did this and have been doing this for me. Couple hours once a month, help one person get to an appointment, or meet them there and escort them during the appointment, or possibly expand that into being able to have like a handicapable vehicle that we could actually have them picked up in and taken to their appointment if they need that as well. So they have this caregiver program in the VA, and most people don't even know about it. And there's a bunch of rules about it. I qualified for it, but never ended up in the housing situation or with the people situation in order for it to go forward. But the caregiver program in the VA actually pays a stipend to the caregiver, and depending on the level of care that the veteran needs, that stipend is 500 to whatever 3,000. I don't know. It's like full-time work pay practically. There's also insurance that comes with that, medical insurance, mental health providing comes along with it as well. And so does training on how to be a caregiver, and so does ongoing training, and so there's all these benefits. And a caregiver can be a blood relative and you not live with the veteran. You just have to do the checklist and see how often you're coming by the house, how much care you're providing. There's a whole questionnaire, think of it. So just look it up on the VA page, look up caregiver. It's pretty amazing. Or you don't have to be a blood relative, but you have to cohabitate. And the veteran, disabled veteran, has to have their own room and and access to a bathroom that's like not through the other. It has to be like a fully accessible bathroom. So it could be a shared bathroom, but it can't be like an ensuite to somebody else's room, if that makes sense, right? So, so anyway, there's just these different rules, and I'm sure some people have worked around that before in their situations and stuff. And there's different levels. So you put the application in, and then you do some phone interviews, and sometimes they're video interviews, and your advocate gets interviewed too, and children, and there's a lot. There's a lot to it, but the thing is, it's there, and there are tons and tons and tons of people out there that don't know about this, that are helping care for their disabled veteran family members. And that person that's doing the caregiving could get a stipend, could get medical treatment, could get training. That could become a career that they do for others as well. You see? Or somebody could maybe start a home like they do for a nursing home style, like in a neighborhood, like a a care for older, or a memory care, like start a small nonprofit center and have say 2 or 3 bedrooms. They could be a caregiver for different people. And the thing is, even somebody like me who can handle a percentage of my care, I still require and need caregiver to be able to do the things I need to do. Like, I'm unable to go to the doctor without an advocate or caregiver with me. I'm unable to do these things. So I haven't seen a doctor in a couple of years now, like a physician. So anyway, I'm gonna get going, but I talked about a lot of different things. I just mostly was saying hi this morning, and I'm still searching for the photo over here, but I kind of started talking, and then that was good to have some subjects to go on about VA and the different programs. So there's a lot of other programs too. There's geriatric care, there's memory care. There are tons of these things. You just have to go to the va.gov website and you have to like kind of search for the different types of things you might be looking for to find the keywords to help you eventually get to the pages. And then most of them basically require primary care referral. And that's where they kept screwing me over and telling me it wasn't available for me, or there were no programs for me, or then acting like they had no idea what I needed it for. Social workers lied to me, doctors lied to me. I was mistreated horribly. And I survived another suicide attempt on my own with the support of my daughter and another friend. I made it through that with the support of the 988 line. I made it through that suicide attempt. So, you can do it. We can do it. Stand up for yourself, or in some way, shape, or form, mentally, in your heart, emotionally. Rise up. Rise up. I believe in you. I believe in us. We gotta find a way. See you later. Stay safe out there. Fight fascism. Resist. Resist. Democracy matters. Black lives matter. Science is real. Women's rights matter. Trans rights are human rights. No person is illegal on this planet. Please, first do no harm. And if you've done something bad and you've been a bad person and you've broken laws and you're paying your dues, thank you. I hope you're able to rehabilitate. I truly do. And I'm so sorry that the system you went through is different than the one I went through. And somehow I went through all these crazy traumatic events and have done so much stuff, but here I am, sitting free, talking to you about how I hope I can get housed for me. And a lot of you are just picking up the rubble in your life right now, truly fighting for your lives somewhere in the world from a bomb dropping. Right or wrong, whatever side of history you're on, I still understand. You're a human, and that's scary, and that is so messed up, and I just wish and want peace for every single one of us. We need to stop killing each other. Please. Love you. Bye. At DJ Love. Diary of Dondi Racer DJ. We'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping in. Bye.